Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening to you. Welcome to class, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Williams.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. I've been busy a day here. Welcome to class. Final class. Last 1 minute. All right, are we ready? All right. What are we doing? Do we need teachers? Okay, let's just set up a server for practice. Let's quickly set up one. So let's share. Yes. Yeah, let's quickly set up a server for practice. Even though we'll not be doing it. No? Okay. So it will be AWS, right? AWS. Sign the password. Sign in. Do we have any EC2 instance running? No, we don't. So let's quickly set up one. I'm not sure we'll need multiple, depending on the kind of question. So let's just do server and then set up 3, one more instance. And then we use the public API, and then we say launch instances. Instance view, because they all bear the same name. We want to quickly name this server 1, and then it's more convenient to connect from our laptop using the SSH laptop. We'll load mobile expert. Mobile expert. And then connect to cloud. Yeah. As EC2 user. And then provide the key to open here. All right. So what are we doing today? Revision, and then the process of revision. You ask questions. Whatever you are not clear about, ask, and then I'll see this opportunity to advise. And then introduce you in the process of your 1 or 2 commands that you may not have at the advanced level that you may not have. Not because just because we have time to pair, not because they are really, really important for this stage of your IT career development. Everything. All right, so let's go. Share. Are we ready? Who is here? Let's see. Just 10 persons here. Okay. Let's go through some sample interview questions. At the revision. I mean, we're approaching the revision. All right, so there'll be open questions. If you feel you have an answer, please contribute. All right. First question. What is Linux? Anybody?
Operating system.
Linux. Anybody? I mean, I don't want to put pressure on a particular person by picking name. He doesn't know it. If you know the answer, please just. What's
Linux is the server operating system.
Okay. It's an operating system. Keyword, fine. That's fine. Yes. What differentiates Linux from other operating systems?
It's the command line application of it.
Command line interface. Yeah, that's right. Good. Yeah. What else? All right. Do you know the part of kernel? What kernel is in Linux or in any operating system? Specifically for Linux. So let's draw that just to give you an understanding, not like anybody will, but the understanding will help you with other grasping other concepts of operating system. All right, so let's explain that. Let me do page. And of course, you know what operating system does, right? Okay, even if you did not know. So we have your computer. Can you see my paintbrush?
No.
No.
Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay, that's my screen. All right, are you there now? So when you have your system, you want to draw your computer, you know you don't draw the whole of computer. There are so many things in your computer you don't want to draw. So if you want to represent your computer, what are the 3 key resources of your computer that you mentioned to show that we're talking about computer networking?
The processor?
What?
You said 3 key components of the computer.
Yes.
The memory.
The CPU.
Yeah,
Okay.
the processor.
Yeah. So the CPU processor is the same thing.
Yeah,
Memory,
it's the same thing. Yeah.
What?
And storage.
Storage. All right. So together we call all these 3 what?
System resources.
System resources. Yeah, you are speaking the language now. You are talking like this at interview, even if you don't. I mean, they are impressed that at least you know the terminologies and you know how to use them. All right. So all of them, all of those, they are part of computer hardware. Hardware. So when I say hardware, essentially we're talking about many things, but principally we're talking about the things you mentioned: the processor, the memory, and then the storage. Storage. Yeah? Let's bear with me. Now, this is hardware, just like a generator. Without software, it is not a computer, and therefore cannot be available to you. So if we now have another set of software here, let's call this another layer of software, right? One application, another application, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, CorelDRAW, all of, I mean, these are even user-defined software. There are even other layers of software like the utility software that the system itself needs. Anyway, let's not go into details, but let's just count all of them as software. So it is this software working on the hardware that makes a computer. Or yeah, together. But this software cannot directly access the hardware. They need a special kind of software in the middle. Okay, they need a special kind of software. Yeah, and I'm just looking for how to represent it. Something like this in the middle, so that between software that you as human would use, when you say you are using computer, you're actually you're interfacing with your software. This is where you are doing your editing, your drawing, your programming, your whatever it is you are doing. Even your cloud is part of here at this layer. So these ones cannot directly connect with this because this is written in high-level programming language, maybe, and this is machine hardware. This is core. This hardware, this physical, this is your physical RAM, physical memory, physical storage. What you do need in between to do the interpretation and convert your high level to machine language is low level. And this will come, well, the most common way that this comes is as an operating system. Operating system. So it is the operating, I mean, look at the word operating system. What does that mean? The manager of the whole computer, the operator, basically the operator. So if you want to do something, you want to push something to memory, to hardware, it is from here that you direct. You come here, and then this operating system would understand you, take your input, and then convert it to the format that the hardware will understand in machine language. And then once that is done and the machine replies to you, usually machine language is in bits, zeros and ones. Don't worry, we'll be doing more of this as we progress. It will now give it back to you as a, maybe this was originally 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, to now give it back to you in language you understand as I am coming. Now, this operating system plays this role, so that without the operating system, this cannot happen. So the operating system is generally divided into 3 parts. There is the real part of the operating system at the middle, like the egg, the yolk, the core. So this core, the inner part of the operating system, the real operating system, around which other parts of the operating system is called kernel. We're explaining this because when you define the operating system, it is important to know what the place of kernel in operating system. Let me push you further. I mean,
in Windows and other systems,
yes, it's the same thing.
It's the same as
the same model. All right, so there is kernel, and then there is the other part of the operating system that is close to the user, because even this kernel is almost also in machine language, very, very low. So this other part that is close to the operator, you, the user of the system, that is not kernel, would be one. The GUI part of the operating system, so GUI, graphic user interface. But like we have seen in Linux, apart from GUI, which we are not using in Linux, there's another layer around the kernel, but not easy, not as easy as the Unix. And that layer is, like you already know, the command line interface. So there is graphic user interface, and then there is command line interface. So Windows, like I'm using it now, using my pen and my mouse to move around. This is graphics. This is graphics user interface. So I'm clicking things, clicking icons, clicking programs that are already there to do their job. But in command line interface, like in Linux, you are typing the command. All right? You are typing the command. So both the command line interface and the graphic user interface through which the user, interact with the kernel is called shell. Shell. So you have the shell, you have the kernel. All right. And then, of course, from the shell, you as user, you communicate with the operating system. From the shell, it goes to the kernel. The kernel is the MD, the father. And then it knows what you want to communicate with. Even if you want to communicate from this application to this application, you still have to pass through here. Come to this. All right. So it is the kernel that now knows how to interact with the hardware. And then again, on this layer, it goes to the CLI, to GUI, and then to this. All right. So that is an overview of what kernel is. And closely related to kernel is shell. You got it? So what part of the operating system interacts with the hardware, the computer hardware, in other words, the hardware resources of the computer? What part of the operating system?
The CLI.
The kernel, not CLI.
The kernel, yeah.
So which part of the operating system do users, computer users, like you, I mean, whether at the engineering level or even at the operational level, what part of the operating system do they interact with? Or specifically, what part of Linux operating system do users interact with? CLI, correct. CLI, yeah. Shell is also correct, because shell is made up of both of them. Yes. So Windows shell is mostly CLI, true or false?
True.
Oh,
False. Windows shell is mostly
graphics, yeah.
GUI. Okay.
all right. Whereas
Linux
Linux
is
shell
it's
mostly
The
what?
CLI.
it
The
is
command.
CLI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Command
true.
line.
Correct,
Correct.
correct.
Yes, I said mostly because Windows also has its CLI.
A CLI.
Yes, interface. And of course, Linux also has its own GUI interface. But we're not training you to be small children in Linux. So we're not looking at the GUI at all. We're training you for the GUI. So we're not talking about GUI in Linux, we're talking about CLI. Awesome. All right. So that's what Linux is as an operating system. Good. Next question. Any question on that answer? All right, no question. All right, next question. What's the difference between Linux and Unix? Have you heard the operating system called Unix before? Unix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who has not? All right, everybody has. All right, so there is the Unix operating system, Unix. So Unix basically is the first kind of operating system. When we say first, we are always comparing to Windows. It's always Windows that we are comparing with all of them. So it's the first kind of operating system that was CLI oriented compared to Windows that is still good. And it's so powerful. It was developed by the first set thereabout, and then HBO, IBM, or even there's this popular name. Yeah, I remember them. So these were the fathers of operating systems. So they developed Unix for industrial use, whereas Windows was principally for common man using computers. But Unix was more like I always say, the engineering part of things.
Bell Labs.
Sorry?
There was a Bell Labs or something.
Dell Labs.
Bell Labs.
Yeah, Dell. Yeah, Dell also has its own version of Unix. All right. So this is where this was used for at the industrial level. Windows was for personal use. So that's why they were called personal computers, PCs. Anyway,
Okay.
so it is this Unix that is the origin of CLI motivated operations. And then Linux was developed out of Unix.
Unit.
So Unix is no longer very popular. What is now popular now is the Linux version of Unix. So therefore, in job description, you're looking for job, they are likely to be asking, can you use Unix stroke Linux? And then you're wondering, I know Linux, but which one is Unix? It's essentially the same thing because this is the foundational operating system version on which this one was built. So they can be
Linux
used.
is like the advanced version, is it?
No, not advanced, just like you developed Ekiti out of Yoruba, and therefore because you speak Ekiti, you can speak Yoruba.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Wow, that's a great thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
So Unix stroke Linux. At this level, we can say, yeah, there may be history about who started it, when, and who, what version IBM used, what was there. I mean, these are popular versions of Unix operating system. And then, unlike Linux operating system, another big difference is, in fact, the major big difference is that this is open source, but this is proprietary. This belongs to IBM, to Dell. Dell will have its own version. Huawei will have its own version, and all of that. So they are all different versions. But at the end of the day, if you can operate Linux, you can claim that you are a Unix engineer. All right, Unix. Another way to say it is that Linux can be said to be the open source version.
And what we can.
That may not be general, but just
It turns out a lot of major softwares are based on Linux as well.
yes.
Android, Android, for example, is actually built off of Linux at the very core level. Android.
Yes. All of them would have, on the engineering side, will have some Unix-based operating system. And why would you want to go? I mean, Linux is usually the first choice. If they don't like the general Linux, like the Red Hat, the CentOS, they could take the kernel and then build their own kind of CLI around their own kind of shell around the kernel and call it a different name.
Right.
So that's why we have over 300 different versions of Linux. In fact, 600. Because I can take it, modify it. It's open source, so I can always take the kernel. So these different versions of Linux are called distros, distribution. Linux distribution, distros. All right? So the ones you can use now are Red Hat, Linux, Enterprise Linux, CentOS,
Fedora.
CentOS, Fedora. What you have learned so far covers all of this. So you can claim this.
How about Debian?
It's also a
Debian.
distro.
Debian.
Yeah, there are many of them, but what you have learned so far, this is actually the same. They are all the same. It's just that this one is the supported version of this one. So for training, you will use this so that you don't spend money on support and maintenance, but you see, and then they were both coins from this. But don't worry, all those history, nobody will ask. But we're just saying that all the make directory, gestion directory, if you want to claim one particular distro of Unix, these are the ones that you claim based on what you know so far. And then as we move from here to from infrastructure as code, we'll begin to use Ubuntu because we want to expose you to as many of these things as possible. All right, good. All right. You clear with that?
Yes, sure.
All right. What is Bash? Next question. What is Bash? Remember Bash scripting? So what is Bash?
Bash is automation. It's automation of process or in Linux.
Yes, the scripting is automation. The scripting is automation. But what is Bash itself?
Like a shell script.
Yes, a shell, not the script. Bash. Okay. So imagine that there are two kinds of shell, CLI in Linux. So there is the just imagination, because it's really not exactly like. You have the CLI where you enter command, then you have another where you enter your commands, right? And then you have another layer of CLI where you run your script. In other words, where you run your own personal commands, not the general Linux commands. So you, of course, they are your personal commands are derived from the general command. In other words, you can combine multiple commands and run it as a single command. All right. So that's the place where you run your script. In other words, not the regular one-line command that you run on CLI.
A combination of commands, is it?
Yes. So like we did when we had like 5, 7 commands run together, and then we call it something dot sh. Yes. So and then remember that we had to call she, bang, bin, bash. So we are saying that this command should be run as a bash. Bash, not CLI. So
I guess
can you say that again?
yeah, let's take the question tomorrow. Yeah, the first person.
So so to be clear, we're not saying that the like let's say nano, the space where commands are compiled, that's not the batch, but the batch is more of it's a meta space, right? Like it's
Nano is a text editor.
Yes, you could say that the space where your script is run, it's not exactly, even though you are putting it on CLI, it's not, yeah, you put it on CLI, but CLI needs to call this other space to execute that set of commands. So that other space, bash. And you call that space by this command at the beginning of your script. Yes, so using your space concept to explain it now, yes. Although it's not like, yeah, you can go there. You can go to bash and actually enter. I think we'll begin to do that when we get to container. We'll get to containers. Okay, let me not bother you. So even though it appears to be within your CLI, it's actually a separate space within the CLI from the CLI. It's called bash. What do you do with bash? You run your own, I don't want to say commands, they are called scripts. So you run your own scripts. You compile your own script outside of, you use your Linux command to compile your scripts, but you run them in bash. All right, let's dwell on that. Find a way to put it in work, even though you already knew it. All right, questions?
I have a general question.
Okay.
After it has nothing to do with just after this AWS, what class are you going to take us again? Because you say you're not going to take us for AWS. So which other one? When are we going to see you again?
After AWS, I'm not sure you want to see me again. The trainer will be so good that you will say, So the other class now that they are coming back to, if you go to the interactive forum now, everybody, they don't want the trainer to go. They are telling Mr. Femi, when are we seeing you again? Please don't worry. You enjoy the next trainer so much. Even when I want to come back, you see Mr. Akin. Don't worry. But in any case, to answer your question, you're coming back to me in DevOps. When it comes to DevOps, I don't want to play with that at all. I'm taking that by myself. That's not to say that other trainers are not good, but we have our areas of strength. We don't want one man to be mean. So I'll be pushing you to people who have the patience, the time to, and the experience, of course, to take you in the respective area. But for DevOps, you are coming back to me and the number one person. So for AWS, Femi will take you. For infrastructure as code, Raymond will take you. And then after that, you come back to me for DevOps. We'll begin to learn tools like Jenkins, monitoring tools. That's what really makes you the DevOps engineer. All of these are good, but they are just bus-stops. They are not the best.
Like the foundation, yeah, on top. The DevOps.
Yeah. That's when you come to me for industry projects, for interview questions like this, or resume building, or deeper insights and exposure into what really goes on out there. Okay. All right. Yes. Another question? Okay. So next question. What is, let me check. Let me check what it is. Already explained what kernel is. What is root account in Linux?
That's the foundation of your command. What's the word that she used?
Yeah, somebody has. What's a root command? I mean, root user.
The root user is the home of the EC2 user.
No, root user is not a
No.
home.
No.
The root is a default.
It's a super user.
So what's the root user?
Can we say admin?
It's a super user.
Yeah, I had that. I don't want to add. It's not good enough.
Okay.
So what's the root user?
Sudo.
What's the root account?
Yeah, the root account here. What's it? Or root user?
That's the administration of the whole system.
Right.
Explain what a root user is in Linux.
It's a user that has the unlimited privileges.
Okay.
Yeah, over the server or the system.
Okay, over the entire system resource.
Yeah.
All right. So who is that user and how did it come about?
Okay, so a root user is typically system generated.
All right. Beautiful. Then add it to what we'll now put what Afolabi Williams said on top of that. You want to add anything on top of? And who is he to the system?
Admin.
He has the access to
yes,
perform,
all of that is administrator. So he's the administrator. All right, system generated administrator. All right, good. So administrator means that he has all the, he has access to everything, and how did they put it? Privilege to do whatever you want. All right, that's it. Yeah, I know you know it, but I'm just looking. I'm just waiting for you to put it in words that a 15-year-old passing by can just catch what he said and understand it. All right. All right. So we already talked about, if I say name 5 different distributions of Linux, we already mentioned Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, Red Hat, Unix, Mint. All right. Next question. What are the file permissions in Linux?
The file permission.
The write permission, the
Okay.
read permission, and the execute
permission.
Are you seeing my Word document?
No, but we can
No.
see the plain screen.
The plain screen.
The paint, yeah.
The paint, okay. That is good. If you are not seeing mine, you are not seeing the answer and you knew it exactly. Correct. So those are the file permissions. Can you assign file permissions in Linux? How do you assign file permissions in Linux?
Gmod.
Correct. Correct. You don't need to say more. Just knowing the command alone. Beautiful. All right, let's go. What commands do you use to manage directories in Linux? Can you give me 5 different commands that are concerned with managing directories
So you to make
Change
direct,
directory.
And make directory, remove
Change
directory,
directory, remove directory, okay.
Change directory.
change directory.
copy directory.
LS, LA. Is that included?
LS,
LS minus
yeah, LS is good.
Okay.
LS is the command, don't worry about it. That the option. So yeah, any more?
Copy, move, CD dot dot.
make directory. remove
Okay,
directory.
yeah, I'll take CD dot dot. CD
What about
dot.
what about cats?
You don't cut directory, so it's
No,
Okay.
you don't cut that.
Cat files.
any more? Yeah, those were good. All right, so that's good. Fine. What is a shell script or a bash script in Linux?
Used to
Yeah,
That a script that has a lot of commands,
command
There's-
line
multiple
of
commands.
at
Yeah,
once.
multiple commands is better than, or maybe even series of commands is better than
Series
lots
of
of
Okay.
commands.
Can we
That's
say executable? Can we say
Uh,
executable
where?
scripts?
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Ultimately, it has to be executable, but not in isolation of the first part that is a series of commands.
Okay.
A series of commands.
A
through
series of
scripting.
commands that can be executable.
Through
Yeah.
scripting.
That can be executed, yes. Yes. To do what?
Scripting.
A series of commands that can be executed together as a single command. So,
to accomplish a certain function or task.
okay. User,
Or to perform an
User.
automated task.
yes. To perform a user automated. I just wanted you to bring in that user so that you know that this is specific to what the user wants to achieve, not some predefined system function. All right, but beautiful. You do understand what it is. All definitions are correct. Okay. What is all right? So processes will generally run in Linux, either in the background or in the foreground. Yeah. So types of processes will be one, background process, two, foreground process. You may not understand what that means right now, but yeah, you do.
Yes.
When we
Yeah.
say daemon, remember daemon?
Yeah.
Your HTTP D, your SSH D, your NTP D. These are processes. But even as you are typing your command in the foreground, change directory, make directory, create file, these processes are running in the background, and your server remains a web server. So Linux will multitask. Even while it's taking the command you are entering in the foreground, the ongoing process is still happening in the background. In fact, let's see. Let's share Linux. Okay, so can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I do, let's quickly upgrade that a little bit. Who are we? Okay. So sudo yum up -y, should I say? New packages. All right. Sudo yum upgrade. All right. Nothing to do. So process. So there are processes going on. So every time you load your CLI, bash is already loaded in the background. So the bash that we talked about earlier on is actually an inherent part of CLI, but it's just that CLI would have to call this process to execute your shell scripts. To execute your shell script. There are different kinds of shells. This particular shell is bash.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So can we say bash is a command language interpreter?
Yes. Yes, you can say that. But that's, if you tell, yeah, that is correct. But I was not looking for definition. I was looking for whether you understand what bash is. If you tell me that in your own case as a class, as a student in my class, I will need you to explain.
Yeah, that like interprets like, series of commands, or that interprets, user commands into like a single, into a single automated file or something.
And so that's
it's an interpreter. It's not what all the trouble, but your definition is correct. Yes. All right. So I wanted to give you an idea of when we say background, that there are processes going on in the background, but if we loaded, we install what can we quickly install now that will not take time? If we now say, show me processes in the background, you are going to see that there are many processes. But this one is just one, or maybe two processes. The fact that these two processes are already potentially happening in the background does not prevent the CLI from taking another command like make directory. All right. So this one we are seeing right now. Even though it's not a process, but I'm just using it. Okay. So top. So yeah, this is a better way to look at it. You see that top says, what does this say? There's only one user logged into this machine. All right. And this machine has been up for about 38 minutes. How many tasks do we have going on in this machine? 96. One running, 53 sleeping. Right? And the CPU usage of this machine is 0. The total memory is that, out of which this is 3 and this is 0. All right. Now look at all of this. You see, I'm scrolling now. All of this, they are processes.
Background.
Yes, there are processes running in the background. There are processes. So every time you say, Linux, do this for me, it is because these processes are already running. That is why Linux, they are like army standing attention, ready to take your command. That's what they are. In soldiers, or the whole army.
Okay.
So this one has its own work. Then when you put a command that is its own function to execute, it will do it for you because it's already in the background. That's what I mean by background. No. All right. All right. Good. Next question. Actually, top is a very popular monitoring command. It's a system monitoring command because you can see now, instead it's monitoring the system and giving me metrics about not just the use of my system resources, but also about what processes are running in the foreground and the back. The command, the question like, do you know any Linux command to monitor the use of to monitor the system? I mean, monitor the system. This is a good one. Top is a good. And it's on. It's not like it's static. It's continuous. That's why you see it blinking. Once there are changes, one process is taking up additional memory to change accordingly to reflect the action. All right. What other question do I have for you? I do have many questions, but some of them are advanced. Actually, many of them are advanced for advanced users. Well, I have deliberately added them. So I'm going to give you an additional document of 7-page document containing all of this stuff and many more. that typically come up in many system administration related kind of things. All right, so that's all the questions that I have for you. So let's now take your questions. Whatever is not clear, let's ask questions, let's interact. So as for this one, I would give you the document at the end of the document and the answers that you have provided. All the questions and the answers. Seven pages. You keep it as part of the document. And then we'll actually have for you, if you are going all the way to DevOps, almost a 300-page document of all the possible questions that can come up at interviews. All the way from Linux through cloud architecting, through infrastructure as code, to DevOps, and even courses that are too complex for you right now that you may not have, we are not covering right now, like Chef, like Coffee, like detailed Docker, and so on and so forth. So you have that document. Because you may not have covered everything, every topic there, you are not necessarily required to do everything. But the topics that you have covered, you should practice those answers. Those are the questions from which interviewers draw their questions for you.
Do we have access to that?
Yes, only at the end of the course, not at the end. Okay. So this part now, this Linux is the part that I extracted from that 270-page document. But this is the part that is related to it. But at the end of the course, I'll give you the whole document. The whole document. You will not replace training. You just say that after the training, the questions that are presented in the document related to those training
will help you going to the interview. I said it will help you go to the interview.
Yeah, that's actually the interview. Help is enough. Yeah, the bigger one. Know the answers to all of those questions? Yeah, or not.
To boost your confidence.
Actually from India, and that is what the Indians do. Excel at interviews and data. All right. So let me now take your questions.
Hello, Mr. Akin?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I have my first question is the AWS. When are we going to start the AWS class, and what are the schedule?
Okay. So AWS is the same schedule as this. Same time. No. What are we doing? What's this class?
Linux.
Yes. Yes. Linux. So same time, same days, but just a different instructor. And that is starting. This is our last class.
Okay.
Starting on Monday.
So that one is starting on Monday, the 3rd of October.
Okay. So then my next question is, after the whole class, then you were talking about the resume preparation, other stuff. So yeah. I just want you to give us a little bit hint about how are we going to place the company, because if I don't have any company or whatever that I'm going to put on my resume,
use the ITern. Having undergone training at the ITern, you can claim that you work at the ITern. All of the experiences that you'll be gaining here, put the ITern that you gain the experience.
Okay, that's how we're going to do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. If you don't have any other place to use, then you can use the ITern.
Okay, but if you have any other place, you can mix it up with ITern.
Definitely, yeah. We'll encourage you. So, but many people will be using the ITern, so if you have somewhere else to use, we prefer that you use it so that there'll be less number of people using the ITern.
So, how many years of experience were you Or should we be comfortable claiming one?
At the end of DevOps, you should be comfortable claiming 4 years. And 4 years is actually the ideal. 2 years will not give you DevOps. 3 years, maybe not. 4 years, yes. And then with everything we are going through, I mean, we had a good start. By the time we complete DevOps, everything you would have learned and practiced will be enough for you to comfortably claim 4 years of experience. And then for people who already have experiences in other areas of IT before joining class, they may be able to claim more than 4 years.
Okay. Then what about, we hope, when we finish everything, then we got a job. So are you still going to be giving us support, because, it's still going to be a long way, because there's some stuff that you might not know, and, they give you and you think, like, oh, okay, I need to, maybe we can still reach you or reach, I'm just trying to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, not necessarily me. Of course, I'll still be in contact with you. You can still call me, especially if in those days we used to do video and we know everyone knows everyone. I'm always happy to. Yes, I have people, my old trainees calling me once in a while. Some of them I'm friends with. Like yesterday, I had a call from one of you guys in AWS asking me if I had a code, a Terraform code to set up an API gateway. All right. Yes, we do have courses like that, and of course, I also have. I have a couple of people that I'm in constant communication with. They are sharing with me what's happening in the industry, the challenges they are having, how they were able to overcome. And one of them was telling me, Mr. Akin, anything relating to infrastructure as code, forget me, I'm a guru now, So yeah. But that is not always the case. So what is normal is that we have an alumni forum, WhatsApp group. So we add you when you complete the DevOps training to that alumni group. So that way you are not just interacting with me, you are interacting with other colleagues that have passed through these programs and have become certified, have gotten employment. They are having challenges one way or the other. They are, for example, this morning I saw on the forum, somebody was asking, has anyone here passed through, what's that called? Deloitte interview as DevOps engineer? Please get in contact with me. I need your help, something like that. So that forum will give you the opportunity to continually network and then get help once in a while. And I've actually, I have an idea what happens behind the scene on that forum. I know that some people need additional help, but as the MD of a company, and then at my level, it will not be me that will do that kind of stuff. It will be you interacting with yourself behind the thing. How can you help me do this or do that? So that forum should provide what you're looking for. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
For the AWS class, will you provide the Zoom link? Will it be the same Zoom link?
Yeah, the first, we'll provide because we still have this forum. We're not bringing down our WhatsApp link right away. We'll still provide additional information. If the link is going to change, yes, we'll give you the new link. And then, of course, the new trainer will introduce himself there and then take over from him.
Will he introduce himself in the group already made?
Sorry?
Will he introduce himself in the link?
Yeah, definitely. At some point, he will introduce himself using the forum that ability. And then later on, we'll not change the name of the forum from business class to AWS. I think it's even there already. It's already in class. It's already part of the group. At the appropriate time, we'll now unveil him and say this. Yeah. All right. Questions?
Step up, step up.
Mr. Akin, I had a question.
Yes.
So if someone is going through the program after the 3rd month, could they possibly, if they're comfortable enough, could they possibly go ahead and construct their resume and apply for a position, but also still take like the DevOps class for
Yes.
the 5th month?
Yes. At the end of the 3rd month, which is infrastructure as code, you should be competent enough in everything we have taught you to claim, or at least to attempt to claim the role of a cloud solutions architect. It may not always come in that name. You could change the title here and there, but yes, with infrastructure as code, with the completion of that course, infrastructure as code, yes, you should qualify. And actually, you should be able to get a job as cloud solutions architect. Yes. So at the end of the 3rd month, yes, you can construct a resume that fits what you already know, and then go ahead. Yeah, many people have gotten job at that. Many, even without infrastructure as code. But it's just that boosts your confidence, actually prepares you and increases your chances of success as interview. I was going to interview to say, yes, I've done AWS, I can do everything you are asking manually, and to a very large extent, maybe 50, 60%, I can also automate the manual process using my knowledge of infrastructure. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The AWS class, is there like past questions for you want to study before the AWS certification?
Yes, there are DOMs. They are called DOMs that
okay.
Your trainer may not have the latest DOM, but he will sure be able to help with. This is the link to the DOMs that you practice. And when you practice your chances, you practice, because how DOMs work, there are about 600 questions in DOMs generally, and AWS is about 75 questions, there about 65. And then you practice them over and over and over until you begin to score like 90% on those 600.
It'll be done in how many minutes? Like how many minutes does the certification take?
Your AWS guy will tell you, trainer will tell you about AWS.
Okay.
Yeah, but for the past questions, what we have is docs, and there are specialists, there are trainers, there are people who specialize in monitoring the exam and updating the DOMs so that they have the latest DOMs that would almost guarantee that once you practice these DOMs and you know the answers, you go there. But again, it's not really a guarantee. Sometimes many people fail, but you don't really know. It's only when they pass that they come to say, yeah, guys, I've made it.
Speaking of DOMs, Akin, is there one for Linux?
No, Linux is not a course we recommend certification on. So we are not, I mean, there are DOMs for all courses, but for us here at ITern, our focus is on AWS.
So does it mean that we can actually apply for the exam, the AWS exam, after the course?
Yeah, definitely, yes. So there are two aspects to the course. Actually, three aspects. One, to prepare you for interview. All right. Two, to give you as much practical exposure as you would need to be able to claim the experience that is already in the resume. And then three, to prepare you to pass the certification. So for the first two, you don't need extra work other than come to class, understand what we are doing, and then practice on your own. But for the certification, you do need to practice the exam, the question, the DOMs. And for understanding the question and what you are required to do, that is already covered in the training. I mean, you would know what is required of you. You may not know the best way to do it, because usually there is more than one way to do something. But the certification will be asking for what is the best way to achieve this. Yeah? Your boss, they are scenario-based questions. All right. Your company is this is migrating from here to here. They have a database that is that was first created in 1901. Now this is what would you do in it, right? So yes, The donks will help you prepare for the certification, but for the other two, the training will prepare. So what you need to get job would be understanding what we are doing here and then practicing to claim that understanding. And it's possible these days to get job even without certification. Yeah, it's possible. Yes, questions.
Do we have to pay for the exam?
Yes, it's $150.
$160. Okay.
Sometimes you get voucher that will reduce that to lower 75%. Only one.
Sir, are you saying
will I be scaring you to say prepare? If I say prepare 300 so that in case you fail the first, and then you can just register for the. All right.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Did you say it's just $150 to write the DevOps certification exam?
AWS certification. AWS certification.
Okay.
Solutions architect, associate level. There are many AWS exams. So this particular one is called Solutions Architect, associate level, not practitioner level. You are bigger than that, and not professional level. You need some experience to write professional. So associate level, that exam is $150.
Okay.
Oh, so for the professional AWS solution architect professional, you have to show experience before you're eligible to take it?
Yes, you need no, you don't need to show, but you need more experience than you have gained in class now to be able to answer those questions. You need more experience.
Sir, I've seen other institutions that offer DevOps training. They just provide, their graduates just show AWS certification certificates and they call themselves DevOps engineers. Is that what is going to apply to us too? That we are not going to write like,
It is the knowledge, like I've said many times, the knowledge and the practice. So the certification is just to say, well, I didn't jump from the moon to come and be an IT engineer. I've also, and then instead of asking you to go and write all of the certifications to make that clear, we're just recommending the most relevant, the most industry recognized certification that employers will say, and okay, even though you're a lawyer or you're an accountant, like with this one, I understand that you have now migrated to IT and I'll accept it. So AWS is a generally accepted certification in that regard.
Then DevOps is a skill acquired over time while being an AWS certificated person.
DevOps also has its own certification.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, they have its own certification. In fact, many of them. Almost every topic has its own certification, not even the subject, not even the course. In one course, you could have like as many as 15 different certifications. But the point I'm making is, we don't send our students to go and write all the certifications in the world. No, we just look for the best certifications that the industry recognizes as, yes, once you have this, it means you are good. And that will have chosen to be AWS Solutions Architect.
Okay.
If you now go and learn Kubernetes and become Kubernetes expert, you don't necessarily have to write the certification to say that you're a Kubernetes expert. Because there's a way we interact and you tell me what you know about architecting infrastructure as cloud in AWS cloud. And I know that you know what you know. You can study your entire career writing certifications. How many can you write? And besides, all certifications don't carry equal weight. So just look for the ones that you just recognize. We don't waste time with A+, N+, Server+, Linux+. No, those are first class certifications. We are going to be engineers. We are choosing the best. Yes. Okay, more questions?
Mr. Akin, I'm trying to access the two last videos, but it seemed to be private for me for some reason.
Okay. So let's look at that after class. Send a reminder. I think I already saw something like that, but send a reminder with your email again, and then we'll
Okay.
All right, so that's about it. Unless you have questions, we don't have to spend that 2 hours today. But if you have questions, we've completed our minutes. Then 14 of us, we're supposed to be like 18 or so in class. And not everyone can attend class. Where is anybody?
So the meeting on October 1st will be like the introductory to AWS, correct?
No, we're not meeting October 1st for your class.
It's third.
I'm meeting the new entrance October 1st. People who are coming to IT for the first time.
Okay.
I mean, starting Linux, replacing you. I mean, as you are moving on,
right.
So AWS, another class is replacing you. Those are the people I'm meeting October.
So
that
our
should
AWS
give us
class
enough. Sorry.
Sorry?
So
Yeah,
our
I'm listening.
first AWS class, if we signed up for it, will be on the 3rd.
Will be October 3, yes. The 3rd of October. AWS class should be October 3rd.
That should give us enough time to just practice the rest of the Linux.
And it's not really a break, you know. It's your regular 2 days a week. There's no break. So we have classes Mondays and Wednesdays, right? Today is Wednesday, so the next class will be Monday. Yeah, that's enough time. I mean, as long as you know, like, we're not giving you 1 day break to go and there's no break.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
We still have 1, 2, 3, 4 days between today and next week month. Usually you want to cover everything in the beginning, because once you start the next course, AWS, it has enough of its own problem that you don't even remember that. All right. So that was it with me. You'll be meeting Femi, and Femi will slowly and patiently take you through cloud, show you around, show you the different services, the different infrastructure, the different tools, then prepare you. By the time you are coming out of cloud class, you are coming to tell me that I am now able to set up a VPC.
I got a question, Mr. Akin.
Yes.
What's the difference between AWS SysOps and Solution Architect?
So SysOps is basically around what we are doing. In fact, we can begin to call ourselves SysOps right away. So this system operations here, can you see my screen? Make directory, change directory, copy file, synchronize file from one server to the other, like we did in Linux. All of that is system operations.
Okay.
Yes. Well, solutions architecting is now actually identifying what infrastructure you need to set up to accommodate and maintain the application. That, because the whole goal, everything you are learning here, the whole goal is there is a company that needs to develop and launch an application that will solve a problem. For example, Zoom as a company. They want to launch the Zoom application so that we can have this virtual class that we're having now. All right, so if Zoom is employing you, what they need you to do as a solutions architect is understand Zoom as an application and set up servers, securities, networks, services using Linux on which they would deploy that Zoom application. So that when there are 2 billion customers across the world are simultaneously accessing that application, it will not go down. It will be highly available at the optimum cost, very secure, what are the other 2 pillars? They are called 5 pillars. Highly available, scalable, secure, optimal cost, and efficient. All right. So you want to build cloud servers. Because there are more than servers, there are other things attached to servers. We call them cloud infrastructure that will support that kind of application. So in cloud architecting, we are showing you the different infrastructure and services that you need to build and set up to support that application. And then in DevOps, we are going to get an application and go ahead to deploy that application in those infrastructure. You get it? All right.
Okay, so a very irrelevant question, but like what is, okay, on the scale of from 0, let's say 1 to 5, like 5 being the most complex application or job assignment and 1 being the one you can just do with your eyes closed. Like what are some of the worst or most complex application or like just work task that a person could face?
As a cloud solutions architect or as a DevOps engineer?
Both. Make it more interesting.
As cloud solutions architect, your boss, the company gives you the design of what they want up, and then you are left on your own to go and do it. Nobody gives you code. Of course, you are doing it. In industry, we don't work manually. We do everything in automation. So they say we need to use Terraform to set up this infrastructure. All right, go and do it. Set up a VPC, put 3 servers in the public network, put our database in the private network, set up an API gateway, set up a NAT and the internet gateway, connect all of this, and allow only packets from server 1 to be able to access our EC2 in the private VPC. They give you all of this. Everything is clear and is well understood. Now it's up to you to go and look for the code that you run to set up that infrastructure. So these are the cases where people, old trainees will reach out to me and say, Mr. Akin, look at what they gave to me. They want to kill me. What do we do? Because everything must run like from here. Can you see this?
No. Okay. Are you showing your paint screen? I can see.
I'm showing my infrastructure as code with VST.
Okay.
So everything must run from here. For example, now this particular project is a cloud formation project setting up several infrastructures at the same time using this. So in your own case, of course, you have gone through training, so you would have access to at least the fundamental codes for building ASG, for building databases, for building application load balancer, for building VPC. So this is, wow, you are hitting the ground running. However, in practice, it may not be this simple. You may want to do something else on top of this that we have not shown you in class. Again, training should help you know where to go to get those additional codes to add to this. So that by the time you run everything here and you go to cloud, you say, oh, wow, everything is just as it was designed to be. But the point between you have the codes and getting the desired result could take 3 weeks of struggle. Of, this code is not working. Mr. Go to the forum, please. I'm looking for a code that just keep running around. Yeah, that's one scenario until you get it. And then once you get it and they say, wow, you are good, they give you another one, probably more difficult than the first. until you have enough practice. So, and it moves from being the most difficult at level 1 to being very, very, because you would have done this like 5 times over in the last 3 years. So it becomes part of it. So for DevOps, it's similar. It's also automation. But this time, you are not just automating the infrastructure like you did with Cloud Solutions Architect. In addition to automating the infrastructure, you are now collaborating with developers and pulling the codes, the 5,000 lines of code that they have written for you. You are pulling all of the codes from the central repository. You are building the code into application. You are testing the application. You are taking the application and building a pipeline that will automate the process of deploying the application through development, through testing into production. All of this automated for me. That's challenging. That's challenging. Because if you are constructing a pipeline all the way from a oil rig in one part of Texas to refinery in another part of Texas, so that the raw oil is processed and then the petroleum product is extracted at the refinery. That's exactly what you are doing. If anything happens to your pipeline along the way, you are going to have leakage, and you don't want that. So again, it's not just going to be you pass the oil through and everything is perfect. No, there'll be leakages, there'll be bolts that are not fitting well, there'll be a lot of corrections to do here and there. You get a perfect system, and then you open the tap at the rig, the oil flows all the way to refinery, and then it gets to the refinery. Everything is processed, and the end product is exactly as we designed. It takes a lot of effort. Get the desired state. Yeah, it could be challenging. Once you are not getting what you desire, you don't even know what part. Well, you would know, but troubleshooting to know exactly what part of the CI/CD pipeline the issue is, and then focusing on the issue and ultimately resolving it. Could be challenging. Yes. Interesting. But the good news is you are not on this project alone by yourself. There are other team members. There are subject matter experts, even as you are an expert in DevOps, in the use of those tools that you are going to learn. There are other people who are experts in security, who are experts in networking, so whatever is beyond your specific area of specialty, you can always consult your team members and say, please, I'm not a networking person, I don't really know. I'm trying to use the site at 10.0.0.16 to do this, but it's not working. Oh no, that's not the site that we use in this company. The network you are trying to connect to is 10.1.0. That's why it's not working. You need to change this 0 to 1. Oh, okay, that's it. So that kind of collaboration and teamwork really helps. But when it's your own subject matter area and there is nobody to go to, then your training becomes useful. Your contacts, one of your colleagues sitting right here today, will become useful when you say, okay, please, you have you done this kind of thing before? Can you support me with skill and knowledge to do this? And then they say, oh, no, yes, I did, but this is the link. But at that level, nobody has time to come and sit with you like we are sitting here now. We'll be teaching you for 1 hour. No, everybody's to do. Then they just show you a link. You go and help yourself there. Sometimes what people used to do, especially at the early part of this year, I don't know if it's still involved, is to get some small Indian boy somewhere that you pay like $1,000 or $800 every month. You say just be there on standby as my support. If I have any issue that I cannot resolve by myself, up to you to be able to come back to me within 24 hours. Yeah, people do that. And people have approached me to see if I could do that for them, but I cannot pretend to know everything. I'm not specifically on that particular project. I'll give you a general idea of specifics. You have to be somebody who has had that. All right.
All right.
So this is where the money is. This CLI where you don't come here. When you begin to work from here, well, if you ever get higher, maybe 40,000, 50,000, 55,000, working from here. Or when you begin to do the equivalent from here, this is where the money is. That is why I say from the point where you know infrastructure as code, yes, you can begin to do it. It's not usual to get 100K job, even when you are not yet a DevOps engineer, but you understand your infrastructure as code very well. Yeah, it's possible. But nobody ever gets anything less. Well, maybe they don't tell me, but no trainee ever gets anything less than 100. Maybe they do, but you don't just let me know. So after training, even after ISC, minimum pay is usually you get 110, 111, 120.
With or without the AWS?
Sorry?
With or without the AWS?
No, after AWS up to infrastructure as code. Up to the third one. You can begin to do. Before the completion of the third month, no, they're not likely to get job.
I have a quick question, sir.
Yes.
So at the point of AWS, what is the possibility of getting a job? Like, what can you apply for?
Without infrastructure as code?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know anyone. I don't know anything about it. You have to be with infrastructure as code before you can happen.
And the Linux system administration, yes.
No. You're not likely to get that. But if you do get, we'll congratulate you and claim you. Yeah, it's my trading. I'll be happy. But the market is separate. Anybody can go and learn in 1 month. It's easy to learn, then it's not easy to get that.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please, I was wondering, is there so much coding in there, sir?
Now look at the coding now. Can you see my screen? This is the coding in DevOps.
Oh, this is the code we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We call it scripting, but they are not hard at all. On this thing. They are not hard. The tool that you need to go all the way to DevOps, you already know in Linux. So you have come so far with Linux. I mean, even if you're not going all the way to DevOps, at least learn it to infrastructure as code, and then you can now decide, yeah, the rest is too hard. Let me rest here. Or, not as hard as I thought. Let me do all the way. But it's not hard. Yes.
So, sir, on a general, as an expert in this field, what can you advise someone that wants to do like you to do to get to that stage? Is it by practicing and practicing?
What can I advise?
What can make someone excel very well? What do you?
It's practice now, nothing else.
Okay.
It's practice. We don't read IT. You don't read. There are no books that you go and read like you are reading nowhere. Just practice, 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 practice. Practice, you miss the. I mean, I've had to, not these days, but even up to 2 years ago. Sometimes I sit to solve a problem, maybe a code, yeah, usually code problem or something, just setting up something that's not working. And then the intention is to spend 45 minutes, maybe 1 hour, and then it's done. And then I find myself sitting for 3 days. 3 days, because I have to resolve it. What do I tell my students? Oh, yes, that kind of persistence, and of course, ultimately you do it. that kind of persistence, you are failing, you are finding out where the problem is, you are finding out ways, and in the process, you are knowing ways not to do it because, and then yeah, definitely you come out strong, very, very strong. Why people are getting, yeah, that's the real truth. Practice, practice, practice. Sometimes you read it, you just, somebody else does it, and you look at it and you say, well, it's not hard, I can do it. But if you have not practiced it, then you cannot claim it. Practice is the key. Practice is the key. I've seen some of my past videos and people are in class just like you, and then you are asking these kind of questions, and then 8 months down the line, you say, I've gotten a job, it's 140, and I say, I don't remember you, and then I look at the video, oh, and look at the kind of question he was asking at that time. He didn't know anything, but over 3 months of practice and pursuit of that genuine interest, he ended up doing so well, even better than people with tech background. The guy who asked about the code yesterday and with AWS. AWS is a fund. It's one of the biggest 5 companies in the world to work. He has administration, political science, or kind of course background. Both science, sociology, one of these. That's the kind of background he has. Today is a tech person. What's the difference? Practice. What made it? What made him a tech person? Practice, practice. Practice, practice, practice. And let me even shock you a little. That particular guy did not attend my course. He was not in life. I just paid for material, for videos. I pushed the videos to him. And what he said was he listened to the videos over and over and over, that he was almost talking like me. He was using my language and my terms, and then he was just all over. He did not attend live classes. Just the videos. Yes, it's practice. Even when it appears simple, just practice it. Let it be that you did it and you understand how to do it.
Practice makes perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes. All right, so finally they exhausted all of their questions. Okay.
This class will be available in the forum, correct?
The class will be what?
Available in the group chat.
Video? Yeah, yeah. It's been recorded. The video will be available. All right, guys. So that's it. We are closing 30 minutes earlier today, unless you still have questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So hopefully I'll be seeing some of you again in DevOps.
Thank you, sir.
For the time being, go and enjoy Femi, and then after that, enjoy learning. But of course, I'm still there at the forum.
See you
Aki, are you
in
teaching
November.
Are you teaching IAS?
IAS, no, Raymond is teaching IAS. IAS is about the simplest of all of the courses.
Okay, all right.
So simple that I don't want to. Even though they appear complex right now, the way you are staring at the code, this is even, yeah, it's very, very simple. So after IAS, that's when you come back to me. Don't worry, I can assure you that you'll not miss me. By the time you are ready for me, the DevOps. All right, it was really nice having you guys in class.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akin. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Mr. Akin, should I message you or?
Yes, let's do that right away.
Okay.
On the group.
Okay.
Quick question. Are you related to Aregbesola, the former governor?
No, I'm from Ekiti State.
Oh, okay. What part of Ekiti?
Igbara.
Oh,
Wow, amazing, amazing. I'm from Igbaroke on those
Oh,
yeah.
you don't mean it.
No,
It's
that's
just that
it.
we are in different states, even though we are just neighbors.
Yeah. Wow. It's good to connect with you, sir.
Yes, I've connected like with two guys from my state here.
Wow.
No, me too. I'm from Igbara somewhere. Don't bring that
Igbara, New Jersey, right? Yeah, I think people. I mean, met somebody from Ogotu, Ilawe, Igbara. Then now Igbara. Okay, that's fine. That's awesome. So very soon we are going to form our own union of
so
the people in IT.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Nice having you guys.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye now.
Bye.